Burger King foot lettuce. I'm just kidding. You want me to become one of those what if YouTubers? I'd just be like number 14. I'll probably mention the same stuff over and over, be like number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. But yeah, so what if Deku had a demon ability? Honestly, the what ifs I've been doing lately have been just freeballing it in my head. So yeah, do you think I know am I doing even more freeballing it compared to my rest of what ifs? I usually establish what would happen, but right now I'm not. But yeah. This one would be emergency what ifs probably. Like if I ever forget to do what ifs, if I'm unable to, sickly. So yeah. That's just telling you this might not happen. Wherever I'm making this, I probably won't. I definitely won't use it then. But yeah. So, All Might would offer Deku to train, not one fall, because his quirk seems to fit well with evolution or increase, constantly evolving. Non-stop evolving. But yes. So, Deku. Deku would, of course, decline the offer, saying that he doesn't know exactly what his quirk does, and All Might, you may be strong, but if you can't take down something that you can't control, saying that I could even completely probably destroy something with, saying that it seems that my abilities also uses space and time. So any space around you is for my will. It's dangerous. He would laugh, saying, "It's okay, but I can handle it." Deku would insist again, saying that it would be better off not to take a chance for harming you even more. He would be told about All Might's injuries, of course, like main canon. So yeah. So Deku, his training would assist of but yeah, so he would train, and Deku would just be training. Training and training and training, and he would learn more abilities, and abilities. But after training a while, he'll just be jumping around on Daybaba Beach, of course, just for plot's sake. And he would be getting ready to move some trash out the way. And he has built pillars of trash to study balance, I guess. So, yeah. He would just be sitting a bit on it, breathing in and out. And he would do hand signs and move with it, making sure it doesn't fall. And so he would be moving. And he would just be running in. He would jump in the air with him seeing great energy follow him. and all this, let me explain Deku's weaknesses. He is still like Canon Deku. He does get nervous and stuff, but he has found ways to keep himself calm. And his weakness of his quirk is that he has to stay calm to use it correctly, or he might not be able to use it. So whenever he does become calm, he can increase his sort of power, like output, you can say. So completely calm would be 100% output, pretty much. So Deku would be at this right now. I just kind of came up with a way to make sure Deku doesn't one-shot everybody. That's why he was taken down through that prediction or his time look ability, because he didn't expect it. So he was off guard and he was nervous, so he couldn't use his abilities. So Deku would be doing this, and he would just be focusing. He would close his eyes. After this would disappear when he does this, and he would breathe in and out. And he would see his surroundings, sort of. And his surroundings he would see, and he would have the energy he sees in the air. So he would start moving with it, dragging his hand across it. And Deku does have claws, if you're wondering. And he would drag his hand across it, and he would have a big block of metal that he keeps, and his hands will pierce straight through it. And this is just Deku's calm, his sort of mode, you can say. So, yeah. Deku. Oh my god. But yeah. After doing this, Deku would have opened his eyes, and he would have knew All Might. All Might would have gave him like a number, just in case if he needs like a training partner. And Deku would give him a call. And All Might says he'll come and get him, and Deku would say, "No, I'll come and get you." And he would say, "Sure," and Deku would have start running to where All Might is. And All Might be like, "So how are we gonna get back?" And all that, and what would be the fastest way where you don't waste any energy, All Might. And he would put his hand on All Might. I think his right hand was the demon world and his left hand was his pocket dimension. He would put his left hand on All Might. And All Might would be confused. And he remembers seeing the sludge villain get put on one of his hands, and he'd be like, "So where's this taking us?" And he would have been teleported inside of it. And he would come into an area where it's white, or no, it's black, there's mist everywhere, and there's bookshelves. And on these bookshelves, there's just random stuff, there's drinks, and Deku would be jumping off, and while he's jumping off, he would jump off, and he would get to Devil's Beach, opening up his hand, releasing All Might. All Might would ask what that is. Deku would explain that he figured out what the ability he used against the sludge villain was. Deku would say it's some kind of like warp ability. He would say my left hand warps you to a pocket dimension. And All Might would ask what the right one does. Deku would say that it takes me to a sort of area. It's confusing. There's a lot of monsters, he would say, there. And they're really strong. And they're dangerous, so I don't tend to use that and teleport anybody there again. It was lucky that I didn't know this power used it against somebody, because they probably would have died in it. But the Sludge Film stayed alive because he has no physical body. So yeah. So that would cause Deku. So yeah, that's why. So he would ask why Deku all of a sudden wanted to train, and Alma would be looking at Devil Beach, and it seems all the pieces of metal were put together and were used to make a block of metal which has a gaping hole in it from Deku's hands. Oh my god, that's what that is. Deku would say, you would say that my quirk did its work and it gave me another ability. And you would ask what it does. Deku would have said that it puts me in a sort of state that lets me know all my surroundings and know everything about a target, sort of. All Might would say explain. It shows sort of a sign of weakness. He'll say I don't really know what it does, but it can also predict people's movements, kind of like my see-through power. And he says I just need somebody to work with to see exactly what it does. And All Might would say okay. And so, oh yeah, if you're wondering why Deku didn't reverse All Might's wins, he does not have that power yet. But they go, All Might wouldn't go 100%, but he would go around 20%. Or, no, I'd say 30%. And Deku would be able to keep up. But he would close his eyes in the middle of combat. All Might being confused and would go to punch him, with Deku dodging, and he would grab All Might's arm, grabbing him by the face and flipping him, slamming him to the ground. He would open up his eyes, breathing, saying, so it works. All Might be like, so what is the weakness of your quirk anyway? Usually quirks do have weaknesses. Deku would say, you can say that I'm my own weakness. Saying that my quirk works best with a calm person. So, not having no emotions, but not getting freaked out or nervous, which doesn't fit my personality well. That's about the exact opposite of me, Deku would say. So I had to learn how to keep myself calm, to use my quirk during battle, or I might be just useless. So yeah, that's the weakness of my quirk. All Might would say, so you're your own weakness. That's reasonable, I guess. So, to make sure this doesn't happen in battle, we will do combat training but he would say intense combat training, and he would ball up his fists, rising the percentage of one for all to 50%, and this would be able to speed blitz Deku with his high voltage of speed. So yeah, so Deku would have to dodge this while in fear, and it would cause him to freak out and move differently, making him more vulnerable. And All Might would tell him to stay calm, with Deku saying, "Yeah, I have to," and he would have stopped, took a deep breath, and energy would have whirled around him. And he would take in sort of the energy of the world around him, and energy would appear around him, green energy like the picture. Deku would open up his eyes, revealing he had black eyes, but he has this glowing green in his eyes in a slit formation. And All Might would go to punch Deku, with Deku of course dodging, because he knows what All Might's about to do. But yeah, so because of this, Deku would have start battling All Might, and his speed would increase. Deku would be dodged, and he would go kick All Might while flipping in the air. All Might would block the kick, but the strength behind it would be credible. All Might would say out loud, saying that I never thought the kid would have this much strength. This is even stronger than he was back whenever the sludge villain happened. Even faster, it seems like, whenever he activated this sort of mode. All Might would be wondering if this is just his quirk at work, like ability of his quirk. And all that. And Deku would feel his energy, and he knows it became much stronger and denser, is what he describes it as in his head. But that's where he would say to stay calm, and the energy would start going on his clothes, and his clothes would turn the color. And while they're turning, he would get faster, and he would activate a full-on cloak, covering his body. This would be able to be at the same match at All Might at 70% at least. And All Might would dodge one of Deku's punches. At the same time, All Might gets punched, seemingly a visible force, causing him to be shot back. With Deku charging at him, and All Might would go to punch him 100% in the stomach. With Deku feeling this, that's whenever he would smile, and he would say, "Rewind." Going back in time, seeing this, Deku would have dodged the attack this time, and would have came up and would have punched All Might, or would have came up behind All Might, and would have punched him right in the back, right where the heart is, and it would make All Might have a sort of mini heart attack for a second, making him heart stop, and All Might would be dead for a few few seconds, and he would come back with him asking what Deku just did. Deku would say nothing. I don't know. I just followed what the energy kind of showed me what to do. And he'd be confused, and he'd ask what Deku does to activate that sort of form. Deku would say it's like I'm absorbing more energy than the energy coming out of my body. And I sort of just activate it, and it gives me a sort of a cloak that enhances my body and all kinds of stuff. So he would ask what it feels like, and Deku would have touched All Might, activating it. With All Might not getting the ability, of course, but All Might would feel energy flowing through Deku from outside the body. And All Might would say, so it's sort of like the nature, like energy absorbed through stuff. And this was whenever they would call it Sage mode. You guys think you guys can get away from Naruto? Yeah, it's Deku Sage mode. He is known as a time sage. The abilities of a time sage. It's not really too special. Of course, all enhancement on physical bodies. Of course, any sage ability. The usual. Oh yeah, also some new abilities, sage arts, as I'll call them in this what if. And sage arts are practically special arts and abilities that you can only do in sage mode. I'll call it time sage from now on. But yeah, so because of this, Deku would practice in this mode. He only has a 3-minute time limit on this mode. And that's it. He has like think of the full body one as like say just 6 pass mode, sort of, and the weaker version that just covers his like boots and stuff and headphones, like in the picture, is his sage mode, like Toad Sage mode, sort of. But yeah, think of it like that. So yeah, but Deku would have did this, and Deku would have trained with All Might. All Might learned stuff about Deku, and they spend quite a bit of time together, becoming like canon, but instead of All Might being like the whole thing of Deku goes to all the time, it's just them kind of working together and stuff like that. Not just Deku constantly relying on All Might. So yeah. But yeah, so Deku and his what if, his new ability that he learned, of course, the Sage Arts. And one of his Sage Arts he calls Time Orb. Only way he can do this is Sage Art because he uses the energy from outside his body to fuel this bubble of sort of time stop and time rewind to be able to activate this. Is what he uses it for. pretty much. So yeah. So that's one sage art. He calls it sage art. Time loop bubbles. He can like. Oh yeah, that's a different one. So sage art, time bubbles, time loop is an ability he has to make people replay a certain thing repeatedly in a 10-minute span of time. But 10 minutes means less times they would rewind. And if it's like a 1 second loop, it would be a 1 second loop. But in these loops, only Deku can precede them and the person in them while they're happening. While the person that's getting looped and Deku knows what's going on. So if Deku wanted it, he can make a loop if somebody's getting hit by a car and try to fix it over and over. But if he tries to fix stuff he has learned by using this ability a couple times, it would cause different scenarios, different actions of certain people, different time and all that. Everything would change up. So yeah. And he has learned Sage Art. This is his space ability. Room, which lets him manipulate the space in a certain dome. And if you guys want to add any new other ones, you surely can. And make sure you comment down Sage Art or something, or whatever. If it seems too overpowered, I'll make it a Sage Art and limit it. But yeah, Deku does freak out sometimes still. He has never came over that fear or personality he sort of has. So yeah, just where I leave it off. Hope you like this What If.